So there I was, a young lad, innocently watching TSM versus Immortals, and well, today we're gonna be going a little faster than I usually. So what we're gonna do is I'm not gonna move my camera. I'm gonna move my camera. Uh, but we're not gonna focus super hard on um like the bands. I think you know what? I'll just go at my pace. I'm just gonna two times the game and not really stunt my my kind of thinking around bands. So let's look at the first bans. Malphite is the first ban against Lorem. This is indicative of obviously Wukong being something that they're going to prioritize. I believe it was the first pick of the draft. Um, it's very good into Wukong. It's very good into Aphelios as well. There are a lot of good options. Lorem has shown a lot of success on this champion, so sure. Twisted Fate, Global Pressure, really annoying. Especially if you are against um, a more coordinated team. I don't know how much stronger TSM or Immortals considers TSM, but maybe they think that they are. Uh, it probably doesn't actually matter. It's just a huge consideration. Global pressure is really annoying, um, and Bjergsen showed off a lot with it. Plus, if you see the Malphite ban, you probably already are assuming an early Wukong, which means that Twisted Fate and Wukong, I mean, makes Alarm's life very difficult, provides coverage for Wukong's rather weaker laning phase. So there's a lot of benefits to it. Ezreal banned. Ezreal is seen as mostly an answer to Phelios, as well as probably the second best AD carry in the meta. A lot of good reasons why. Very strong, mixed damage, has some variation in his build that allows him to that allows him to react to certain things differently. Um, and in general, good late game carrying champion. Syndra, super strong champion, as well as probably specifically geared towards Bjergsen. Karma is a champion that um, I still haven't done the necessary research into Karma's effectiveness in terms of its priority, as to why it might be like a really strong first pick. Obviously, if blue side bans it, it's not a first pick, so that might be an indication of not really wanting to use it here, because or maybe not even Biofrost wants to play it, or just a complete we don't want to play it, and so we don't want to have it be on the board. It's also very good into Aphelios, so that's another big consideration. Or bottom lane, it's good. It's good as a support into Aphelios. Um, Generally does well in top or mid. It doesn't do an immense amount of damage, so it becomes more utility focused, regardless of its position. But the level of priority is still a little confusing to me, and maybe I just need to watch more broadcasts specifically to listen in on. Maybe the casters have insight that I can learn from. And then the Varus ban um, makes sense. Still a strong champion. I don't think that the nerfs were in yet. I think it was a 10.14 nerf, but even still, good champion in general. Then Oriana and LeBlanc were banned, so it probably means that this was still yet to be picked up. In fact, what would have been? What would have been? I always promise myself not to do this, but it was Ash, Ornn, Braves were the first picks. So Corki and Thresh were not picked up, and they banned out 2 champions. So if you're TSM, Corki makes way more sense. Like Orianna, that's okay, but this LeBlanc doesn't make any sense into this composition. So why would they ever want that? It's a weird choice to ban. Maybe Insanity is actually like a super strong LeBlanc player that I'm not aware of, but it seems strange. Um, it also removes the option for TSM, which is important because TSM, uh, I mean, it wouldn't help Philios whatsoever, but it would allow more agency from for solo laners to do something. So like when Broken Blade actually goes into a fight, uh, LeBlanc can actually affect that fight rather than Zillion who maybe just bombs and then walks around to help Wukong with an ult, and then you just what do you do? Um, Rom and Bard bans. So it doesn't. Yeah, Tom Kench. So it was Felios, Grundle, Gragas, not Gragas, Wukong. It was Aphelios first pick, Grundle, and then Wukong. Gragas. Um, sure. I mean, you actually want to pick this for yourself, more likely. I mean, Thresh is fine. Thresh is actually also good into this spot, which is why they picked it on their own. It's probably a case of Hakuho individually wanting to pick Thresh more so than Bard. Um, but both of them are actually good in this spot, so I can see there's some sparks flying there. Braum is it's actually pretty good to ban away because you don't want to Braum shield that. You don't want the ability like he literally just says you can't like no to everything, or can say no to everything. So I can see the logic. Um, this doesn't make sense too much at least. Everything else I guess is fine. No bans are wasted it seems. Maybe you could argue about this one. Maybe I don't know if this is a something that they would want to pick up. Um, it's probably iffy. It might be based on scrims or something. Who knows? Or maybe their knowledge of their accounts, uh, their solo queue accounts. Everything else is fine. Now let's look at the picks because the picks are problematic. So this is 1, 2. Sorry, actually 1 doesn't matter here, but 2, 3 doesn't matter. 4, 5. And this was Ash, Ornn, Braves, Thresh, Corki. So Ash, Ornn, these were picked at the same time. Braves was the answer to Trundle, Thresh, and Corki. That's supposed to be letter 5. Letter 5. I've not the first time I've said that doing this. Okay. So Aphelios, I think, is still a very fine champion. It's been shown to be more vulnerable than um, the like super strong first pick every single time. It's unbelievably broken, and we have to. It always has to be on the table. Um, I think it's always worth picking up, but it's something you have to draft around, right? It has to make sense within your draft. It doesn't just Giga win you the game. It doesn't auto win bottom lane. It doesn't auto win mid game. It doesn't auto win. I mean, it kind of has an auto win in late game because of just how much he can output. But you still have to play around it. Like he still feels useless. He's still gonna feel as useless as an immobile AD carry that can't reach his targets. Um, so Aphelios is picked first, right? Sure. The answer is then Ashe, which is seen as a good answer into Aphelios because she outranges Aphelios. She can actually affect the lane a lot. She brings a lot of utility to the team. She can keep uh, the opposing team away from her, which has a lot of benefits across her entire composition, or you can build a composition around that benefit. And then Ornn is another champion that, like, they've basically just said, okay, not the letter 6. The letter 6, dude. The number 6. The number 6. Not the number 6. So we've basically said with these two picks, Felius is not allowed to play the game. And TSM have to find a way to make him play the game. So Doublelift is sitting there, and I don't know if he realizes it at this point, but he probably should. At already on first rotation, he's feeling, yeah, team, I can't play the game. So he's already feeling some kind of way, right? And his team is like, we got you, buddy. We're just gonna go bam, bam. We did it. We've saved Aphelios. Double if you're ready. You're set up so hard to win the game. In the end, but the reality is he's actually not set up to win the game. Because first of all, Ornn wins this matchup. So you're actually gonna have a down. You're gonna have an uh, under a Wukong who's weaker than he probably than you probably want him to be by the time you're reaching the like the 2-3 item point. Because I mean, Ornn is gonna be stronger than him. He's gonna have more economy. He's gonna have more gold. And you're actually forcing your team to path toward you because of that relationship. So because he's such a important part of the win condition, because he needs to be able to actually do something when he's fighting, whereas Aphelios kind of just always reaches that point no matter what. You actually he needs his team to help him beat this. So you're forcing Trundle to move upward to save him, and this is on blue side. So that actually, I think that works out pretty fine. In terms of looking at objectives or anything, something like that, at the dragon at 5 minutes, or looking at um, the issue is that because he doesn't get help, right? He's guaranteed not to get help for the first several levels. When he finally does get help, it won't matter because what does he do? There's no way he ever. There's no way that this will ever be able to lock this down. Probably won't be able to lock this down. Maybe he might be able to get a flash off of Corki. But there's no way. These two have to. It's like a repeated. You have to get 2 ganks off or like dive him early on. But then Zilean isn't a diving champion. Probably will not actually have the priority to do that anyway. And so you're already in a really weird endeavor, right? And even if we assume that they didn't ban any other mid laners, right? So they're the ones who are banning mid laners. They're the ones who are banning these options away. So Zilean must be on the table already for them. Like you don't just go, oh crap, Zilean. That's the answer. Like it's such a weird thing. It's not a pivot. That's the intention. It has to be, based on the way that they played, right? And based on like they didn't put any mid lane bans into you, so the world was your oyster basically, except for 2 other champions. 3 if you really want to be Uh, but I mean, we can't assume that whatever they banning is something that they want to play, right? So they took out 2 champions, and you're already like, what do we do? Like if this is Twisted Fate right here, it might be functional because you could conceivably get a lead with this, and that can conceivably turn your mid game into a. You could actually scrap in mid game, which means you can get objectives in mid game, which means you would actually get to later stages in the game, and that means that because he's not going to have lower economy, he'll actually be strong enough to do something. He'll be able to actually hurt Ash. He'll be able to hurt Corki. He'll be able to hurt Graves. The end result is Aphelios might actually be able to hit someone, right? But here's the thing: as of right now, with just these 3 champions, Aphelios can hit no one because he has no help. Who can he hit? How does he hit them? What does he have to do? You have to hope that Aphelios is standing here. Wukong flanks in, is strong enough that he won't die immediately, and will actually deal some kind of damage. Immortals has to hard commit onto maybe getting Aphelios. They have to get flanked by Wukong, hit up by the Cyclone, and Aphelios can then like ult and maybe attack them, like kite around them or something. And then maybe he gets some help with Zillion. But so far, this is dead weight. This is actually an anchor. So this is like it's a passenger on board. You know, you're like, I mean, what are you gonna do? You gotta sell tickets somehow. You gotta be able to make the ship run. But then this is actually just an anchor holding down your entire ship. So instead of actually being a really strong champion, which Wukong is, he's actually being held down because of what you've already seen and what you're trying to do. I watched T1 yesterday, 3 hours, and they played a composition that was actually not too far off from this. There were obviously differences. This was a Kennen, this was a Volibear, and this was a Lulu, and this was Thresh. So Thresh was actually here. And you're probably thinking to yourself, well, that's completely different, right? Yes and no. It's obviously different because the champions do different things, but fundamentally, they are still trying to do the same thing, which is make this guy win the game for them. As well as you just have better champions overall for the most part at doing all of the things that you wanted to do, but now different. So actually, I think this has actually happened after, no, before. This was before the T1 game that I watched. So maybe maybe they can learn something in terms of just drafting. If they're gonna do that exact thing, like at least draft champions that do what you're trying to do better. I mean, already this is problematic because this is not. You already have 2 champions that say you can't. What are you doing? You're already having a bad time. I don't know what you can actually pick in this for this champion that'll make this better. Um, Volibear is probably better. Uh, he's a lot less vulnerable to Graves because Volibear clears at least a smidge faster than Trundle. As far as I am aware, maybe I'm wrong, but he clears faster than Trundle. At least that's based on my estimation, um, or what I think, what I know, what I think. Um, so maybe if this is Volibear, it's slightly better, but I mean this spot is weird, right? But if you're trying to make this, if you're trying to enable this guy, because that's what this composition is trying to do, right? Uh, you're already in this weird spot. After, I mean, you pick these 2 up. This is 100% just to make this guy good, right? So if you're using these two champions, if this is the your 4 and 5, then I don't. It's a weird. It's like it's not a pivot. It can't be a pivot because there was nothing that forced them into a pivot. And this is not a good matchup for him. Uh, and it's important to remember that there are other available AD carries, right? Um, Callista is available. Senna is available. Ashe was available. They banned Ezreal. And then we kind of get into a little um, tier 2 territory. But there were available options for them. They could have picked a mage if they really cared. If that was, I mean, they didn't have. They probably shouldn't. They didn't need to, but or they could have picked a mage. I mean, Syndra was banned, so it's kind of hard to just go, oh, first pick Syndra, and then you can shift it bottom when they pick Aphelios. But regardless, um, you could go. I mean, you could go first Wukong and then pick Senna here, but then people are gonna meme double of Senna or some nonsense. So maybe that's I probably plays fine, and it's a different team, so maybe I don't know, but regardless, it doesn't feel like double is being enabled at all, and maybe that's and if the end result of this composition is not for Doublelift to be the main carry and to have to do everything basically, then this wouldn't even be a consideration of mine. I wouldn't even care. And then of course you could pick Graves, which is fine into Trundle, right? And match his clear speed, I think. He actually even goes Ignite, which is very helpful against Trundle specifically. If you ever can burn that Ignite, or sorry, that Flash from Spica, it becomes very easy for Smithy to exert pressure onto any specific part of the map. He wins basically every 2v2 after that point. I mean, he already, with Ignite, probably wins every 2v2. And then the 3v3. So Smithy just needs to be in the place where Spica is trying to impact the map, and that's it. He doesn't actually have to do anything proactive because all of his lanes are winning anyway. He doesn't know that at this point, right? He just knows I have Ashe, I have Ornn, and I have Graves. Graves is good into Trundle, especially if you take the Ignite tech. Hong loses to Ornn. Ashe wins that matchup. I mean, so far, he's got 2 winning lanes on the sides of the map. At least that, by his thinking, he has 2 winning lanes on the sides of the map, and he can win the 1v1 and any potential and the top lane 2v2 and the 3v3 bottom. And all you really have to do is use your draft resources on the mid laner at the very end to ensure that you have the conditions to win every single jungle engagement in any lane. Then the bans happen, blah blah blah. Then they pick up Thresh. This is a fine bottom lane, especially into Aphelios. It's good, provides pressure. And I mean, roaming is kind of because she can't really be left alone because she's immobile. But this is good. I can't remember. There's some. Which one of these wins this? One of these is two used to be. I'm 90% sure Thresh is considered an answer to Tahm Kench, but I can't say for sure. I think it's good into Tahm Kench. And when you look at the bans that they have, you might even start thinking like they're gonna pick Tahm Kench. So maybe this is also another thing, right? You're not just taking away a good target for their bottom lane. You're winning the matchup. This draft, by the way, is really really good. Just the way they played it was smartly done. It was kind of handed to them, but and then Zillion, Tahm Kench. When you pick these two champions, you're indicating exactly what you want to do, right? Saying Aphelios is the carry, or we're trying to do something. I don't, or Speaker needs to enable Wukong, or both, really. You know, Double Lift is the eventual carry. Wukong is the mid game bridge, which I'm not a fan of bridge concepts, because like you end up going, okay, well we have this, and then it becomes worse when we have this activated. So they are incongruent in the way that they want to fight. Um, that isn't actually the case with Wukong because he actually has a lot of utility in a late game fight, but he doesn't do anywhere near the damage that he wants to do past mid game. You know, once he gets to a certain point, he just isn't doing damage. Also, he's already looking at champions that build armor or just gain armor for free in the case of these two. Actually, Wukong is useless. There's no way that Double Lift or this this is a response to both Double Lift and Broken Blade screaming in their mics going, we can't play the game into this composition. We don't even know what their mid laner is, and we're already telling you we can't play the game. Because I mean, Wukong's best target is Ashe, but how is he gonna get on Ashe when he's gonna get CC'd, he's gonna get hard DPS, like he's gonna get bursted down, and if he tries to flank, he's not gonna be in range of Zillion ult. And then no one on this team can help you approach the area. It's literally just Wukong to the rescue on every flank. That's how they fight every game, or every fight has to be initiated by Wukong. I guess he could try to walk into them, but he'll just get ulted, burst down, ulted, hooked, boxed. I mean, he'll just be a sitting duck. So he has no method of going into the fight. He has no method of getting in the fight, but his responsibility was not to do that anyway. But now when you've kind of seen that one of your champions can't really do that, you have to look at your other champions and ask yourself, can they do that? And the answer is no. Obviously, he's not going to try to get into the fight. And the reason that this is important, why you want to be able to get into the fight, is because you've already got champions that need to get into the fight. I don't have to question whether or not they can get into the fight, because they have utility, ranged utility to do that, and they want to be played into. All of them. Thresh is actually mostly a fairly aggressive champion, but he does have defensive options, front to back, kind of both, but able to do front to back, kind of both, but able to do front to back just fine. They all can have a front to back option, which means that this entire composition is entirely congruent. Absolutely decimates this, doesn't let him play the game. He becomes the primary carry. Zillion takes 1,000 years to get to where he wants to be. By which point Corki will out damage him for sure, and then everything else is out damaging each other. The only champion that will truly out damage anyone on Immortals is Aphelios, who, as I've mentioned the entire time, cannot play the game. I don't know why I have an arrow pointing at myself. So I'd say this is a heavy draft win by Immortals. I think they did really well, and I think that TSM. It's important to note that they did recognize the problem. Their answers to the problem didn't help, but they did recognize there was a problem. They recognize that they need to protect him. This guy doesn't really have an in except for with some assistance by maybe him. I mean, if these two try to flank as a goon squad, like, it's really, and then you have two guys who only one of them is gonna get the speed up from Zillion. Well, like, no, I guess you can speed up and then reset your cooldowns and then speed up again. So okay, you can do it for both, but I mean you're already speeding up into your opposing champions that all want to be played into, and have the option to go aggressive and outscale you. So they have no reason to do anything early except match you and prevent you from getting anything off. They have no reason to do anything in the mid game except prevent you from just getting free objectives. They have no responsibility the entire game. Everything is on you, and all they have to do is make sure that you can't play the game, which is a lot easier than having to plan out the map, figure out your map position, figure out an angle into the fight, then be able to get that fight off, win the fight, then get the objective. Because every single time you're going to have Immortals walk to the objective. They don't even have to be that early to it. They could just, you could be already on it, and they'll be like, harumph in, and then you'll have to, what do? Walk away. Feels bad. Feels really unfortunate, actually. Because I think pound for pound, that TSM is a stronger individual, has stronger players. So they have better pieces, but they're not set up to win the game. And so now we will go on to the actual game. And I set it to 2 times so that it's kind of a test for myself, maybe. You see something, maybe it'll force me to think about things faster. So hopefully I don't miss. I mean, the point of me going 1 time is because I don't necessarily want to miss anything. But 2 times is almost certain I'm going to miss some things. But it's more digestible for me when I'm viewing my reviews. And more, I think, engaging for when I'm actually doing it. So
They almost did it against TL. If they're certainly trying to prove that, hey, this team is capable. I think we've seen that even in their close losses. So how well can they perform against TSM, a team there's also looking to prove themselves here in the league, but not that they're a contender, but they are the definitive second place team.
A 5-point start, but TSM actually started where they ran down the mid lane and then walked into here, put down a ward, and then left. They ran down his mid and then they put down a ward that they could have put, that one person could have just beelined straight to him.
Oh yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen it, but like I'd be down for something really wild.
That's literally the same effect as a 5-point start, but with the fear of God in IMT, so maybe there's that. Okay, Smithy doing blue. You're doing the same thing on Trundle. Seems to be, oh, okay. I was gonna do blue Gromp. I think I said that. Oh, I think I said that some player.
Some of them aren't as good at the actual ganks. Graves sure he can gank if you really push up and he can just walk up behind you and run you down, or if you have really good gank setup. But in general, Graves succeeds at high level because he wins the duel against his opponent.
I'm missing so much.
Farms the Raptors and he steals away their buffs and he's.
Okay, hold on, let me pause. I think I said that during my T1 versus Dynamic series, that they started Gromp, which is obviously not possible. I have no idea why I didn't catch myself, but where they clearly did blue into Gromp into Wolves, but I recognize that obviously that is not possible. I just misspoke. Because I wasn't thinking about, oh, obviously the Gromp doesn't even spawn. Okay. This is not great. Yeah, I mean, he's just losing every trade. Hold on, let's look at the map position here. This is second wave. Okay. Hollow and double if have gotten every single minion. It's an even map state, slightly pushed in this direction. It's actually entirely pushing in this direction. So it looks like Hollow and Haku are trying to get priority here. I have no idea why, unless they're trying to push it in for a recall. Their jungler is pathing upward. What's the logic? They had to be going for a recall. If they don't go for a recall, I don't know. I need to pay attention to that. So this lane seems to be about even. Again, kind of pushing toward TSM's side. So assuming that no one does a recall early on, INT are all vulnerable because they're pushing the waves, and Trundle can actually do something.
And run you down, or if you have a really good gang setup. But in general, Graves succeeds at a high level because he wins the duel against his opponent in the jungle, and then he farms the raptors and he steals away their buffs, and he's consistently invading.
They're slowly pushing it. I think they might actually be going for the recall.
You know, if you're gonna play Graves into Trundle, and especially
or they just push the wave too fast, and now they're stuck.
Because you know, especially against compositions that have heavy dive like this, I do think Graves can struggle to stay safe, and Ignite is just not really going to be anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in a team fight. It's more about that 1v1 kind of asserting your dominance. With, you know,
both junglers are doing a full blue side clear into red side clear. It looks like actually Smithy is doing the full up to red and then beeline it to opposite scuttle. Makes sense. Smithy should have the ability to out duel and push out the opposing jungler. Both of them have done everything exactly the same, and now it's just But okay. Actually, wait. Them pushing it might not be that big of a mistake. No. Okay. I think okay. I'm actually just blind and stupid. If that was the intention to blue Gromp, Wolves, Raptors, red into bottom scuttle, then yes, INT have to push the wave in. But they don't need to push it the way that they did. They can still look for reset right here.
See a lot of Rovages, lots of tears on Zillion, want to build up that mana pool, but when you have open, you almost always want to have at least one ad in the pairs with it. So, but Twin Shadows are GOP. I'm curious to see how the Oxen build changes with this Keystone.
Right, because the wave just before this is the cannon wave. So cannons are probably dead or dying right now in bottom lane. Then you have the next wave coming in, which is regular minions. As far as I am, as long as I'm not being really dumb. So they didn't actually need to push in second wave the way that they did. They could have been slower on this, built up the wave, and then they could have crashed on third wave if they were slower on this one. With a slow push, it's already coming in, right? In about 3 minutes, they'll meet. They would have met right here, so about like 3:32 or some nonsense. It'll be around here. It's actually really important. Not 3:32. What the hell am I talking about?
But in general, Graves succeeds at a high level because he wins the duel against his opponent in the jungle, and then he just farms the raptors.
No, I'm 100% right. What?
And just farm it up until teamfight time. Then you're pretty much trolling. Like you're really just not getting enough.
Oh wait, no, I'm not. What? I just don't know how to count. I guess I have no idea what numbers I'm even looking at, dude. What am? Let me just take a second. Jeez. Whew, okay. Wave comes in like 2:30ish, just a little past 2:30.
And then he just farms the raptors and he steals away their buffs and he's consistently invading, and that's how he's really kind of creating these huge advantages.
The wave will actually
if you're gonna play Graves into Trundle, and
TSM's bottom wave will actually reach faster. Because so then it'll slightly push it upward, and then you can slow push it. When do they finish this wave? This is really important to me.
He's consistently invading, and that's how he's really kind of creating these huge advantages, and then retreats back to his side. opponent in the jungle, and then he just farms their raptors and he steals away their buffs. And
Okay,
he's
they
just
should have
invading, and
12.
that's how he's really kind of creating these huge advantages, and then retreat back to his side of the jungle to farm. You know, if you're gonna play Graves into Trundle,
Okay.
especially Ignite Graves into Trundle, and just farm it up until teamfight time, then you're pretty much trolling.
He actually started Cull, by the way,
Not getting enough out of it.
illustrating more so how free this lane is, or at least how free they feel the wave is, or the lane is.
Because, you know, especially against compositions
13,
like
14,
this,
15,
struggle to stay safe. And
20. No, 19 is the full wave, right?
not really going to be anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in team fight. It's more about that 1v1 kind of asserting your dominance with, you know, low summoner spell cooldown with Nimbus.
Didn't miss one.
Translate this from.
He missed one. Okay. Sure.
Yep, for sure. And we'll see if Xmith details looks to get aggressive in a moment. The other kind of early game note here is actually on Bjergsen, Conflict Glacial Augment in this.
They know that. They know where Trundle is, right? They also.
Enough out of it, because, you know, especially against compositions that have
Got warded. It is warded. When did it get warded?
He wins the duel against his opponent in the jungle, and then
Got warded around the same time that they were pushing this wave in. Porky, Insanity put down a ward on Raptors, which I guess either wasn't noticed or they didn't care. But this is actually critical information. So they know that he's doing this, right? And so you actually.
And Ignite is just not really going to be anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in team fight. It's more about that 1v1 kind of asserting your dominance with, you know, low summoner.
If I'm Xmithy, where am I going? He's trying to kill this as fast as possible. From right here. Yeah, he has to go bot. For a few reasons. First of all, if Trundle was going downward from the Raptors, he would have. You'd see it. The gank is not possible from this angle. So if he goes down into this tribe rush, it doesn't matter. They just walk away. So there's no reason. So Smithy knows that this Scuttle Crab is free. And due to the pressure from top lane, okay, sure.
Bjergsen, Conflict Glacial Augment in this game, which is like a totally sensible keystone on Zilean. I think the thing that's really interesting for me is that this likely changes his build up. See a lot of Rojo, lots of tears on Zilean, wanting to build up that mana pool, but when you have Augment, you almost always want to have.
Alternatively, IMT could look for a recall on the 4th wave, right? On whatever the wave, the wave that is this. Assuming that's the 4th wave, and I'm not just actually insane. No, the 4th wave is coming.
Details looks to get aggressive in a moment. The other kind of early game note here is actually on Bjergsen, Conflict Glacial Augment in this game, which is like a totally sensible keystone on Zilean. I think the thing that's really interesting for me is that this likely changes his build up. See a lot of Rojo, lots of tears on Zilean, wanting to build up that mana pool, but when you have Augment, you almost always want to have at least one item that pairs with it.
No, they never recall.
I'm curious to see how Bjergsen build changes with this keystone.
No. The only reason I'm considering this recall so heavily is because it actually can really help this lane. But they're choosing to just maintain the pressure on TSM's side so that Smithy is freely able to take this. Then you just trade the scuttles for this. This doesn't seem worth it because, well, it doesn't seem beneficial. It just seems neutral, right? And I guess given the game plan, neutral is fine. You don't actually need to aggress heavily, and given the position of the top lane, even though actually a lot of damage on Wukong, Wukong probably doesn't actually want to respond, or could even respond. But I mean, Xmithy's also. I wonder if I'm trying to understand whether the decision was made before the game started, basically. So at like 1 minute, did Xmithy have the plan to do the blue side, do Raptors, do red and then into bottom scuttle, which would have then indicated how, which would have informed how Apollo and Hakuho should play the bottom lane, as well as inform how uh, Alarim should play level 3, the level 3 to 4. And if that's the case, sure. I think it's probably all fine, right? There's nothing too upsetting. Yeah. Next wave is about to spawn.
Yeah, it's gonna be Hextech GLP almost 100%, and just because you need Flush after, you need to have some sort of mana, on Zillion, or you will just completely
This is the 5th wave, so this wave is a cannon wave, right?
Spooky goes after that, but you are right in that it's not guaranteed.
Do I know how to count?
Going towards death cap or
Obviously, I can't even. Yeah, okay. I counted there. Actually insane how I'm just lost on so many things. Okay, so I mean Trundle's doing this. Doesn't gets flashes. All right, I said flashes is something that is available for a Spica gank, right? I mean, he ends up just burning teleport, but this is actually really good. Also, this wave position is good. It'll stay on this side. So I mean, he can just keep this right here for forever, and then Corki is still vulnerable to a return gank within the next couple of minutes. Yeah, seems good. Everything's going great. And then Spica can actually go Gromp Wolves, and he can actually transition back into mid if he wants to. He can actually go down bottom if he wants to. These are actually really good options. So Spica's he basically beelined it to provision on around the whatever the bush is called on the back of red, and then went here. I think that's really good.
Just held the pillar a bit longer and tried to get in the melee range first. But at the very least, they did force a flash and it didn't actually cost them any summoners themselves, so it's still a very good gank. But you can actually interrupt Valkyrie with pillar, I do believe, so that is something that you can attempt to do there. Either way, still didn't really take him much time at all, so that was just a quick easy gank. He's about tied with Graves and farm. He is doing the Grump right now, and then he'll be pretty much dead even, so he's got to be pretty happy about how this early game has gone.
I still think that Apollo and Hako really wanted to be able to recall so that they can get stronger items. Because they had the opportunity to do it, right? They had the opportunity to go for that recall, come back with even better items, and be able to just hold these guys down forever. I mean, really just ruin their fun. They just no fun for you bottom lane. We're always gonna be stronger. And then in 3v3 situations, 100% win. 100% win. I mean, the dragon is free after that. And it's even possible. No. If they recall, Smithy might lose bottom scuttle because you're gonna have someone wander up. Spica might even come down. But my question: if you do it on 4th wave, I really want, because like it just feels more beneficial, right? It's just like you're getting more. Can Smithy still get bottom scuttle? And can IMT bottom lane take that recall? I have not actually sped up this game at all because I have been stuck on this question for so long. Okay, this is 3rd wave. This is 3rd wave. 3rd wave is now collapsing onto bottom. If Apollo and Hakuho set up the previous wave to slow push, they would have this wave pushing in. They could have this wave pushing in. Alternatively, you can push in the last wave, then slow push this wave to make fourth wave the wave that you back on.
Especially against compositions that have heavy dive like this, I do think Graves can struggle to stay safe, and Ignite is just not really going to be anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in team fight. It's more about that 1v1 kind of asserting your dominance.
Fourth wave is coming in.
With Nimbus Cloak, with Phase Rush, try to slam this Trundle.
Yep, for sure. And we'll see if Xmith does look to get aggressive in a moment. The other kind of early game note here is actually on Bjergsen. Got the Glacial Augment in this game.
Fourth wave is right here. I think they can do it. I think 100% they can do it. Because the wave is just coming in. This is fourth wave. Fourth wave is just coming. It's just crashing in. They could have set up third wave to be slow pushed, using fourth wave as the ultimate crash wave, gone back as Xmithy was finishing his back. You have 3 champions return and come back into the map at the exact same time. You have bottom lane being able to choke the opposing bottom lane. You just guaranteed win every single trade. Xmithy is pretty much guaranteed to win every 2v2 anyway. So you don't even need to bother with the bottom lane, but you can when it comes to going for the dragon.
Which is like a totally sensible battle when you all.
And just because you need Lost Chapter, you need to have some sort of mana.
Okay.
On Zillion or
He recalls.
So you can expect him to rush Lost Chapter.
He actually beelines it to Krugs because it's available. And there's a window where his camps aren't spawning or the timer's bugged. Wait a minute. Would he have been able to? What if he had walked? Does it just spawn by the time he's there anyway? No. Okay, there is a window. There is a window. He really just needs to, because there is a window. So obviously this is problematic. And I think I'm gonna cover that in a second. But you go Graves can then walk to walls, take Romp, then do Dragon with the pressure from bottom. But Trundle is gonna be, you know that Trundle backtracks into his topside camps. He's gonna do Gromp, Wolves, probably Raptors, and then or potentially Krugs, into contest. The question is, do they actually contest? Because the bottom side of the map is not benefited by contesting early, right? Because the bottom side is consisting of, well, of Bjergsen's Zillion. Went Glacial. I think he actually only ends up getting the GLP. Really strange choice. Have to see the logic behind it. I suppose it's down to being able to get on to champions when you're clearly not necessarily equipped to do that. So it kind of helps. Or maybe Spooky Ghost was his option. So he's Spooky Ghost, and then it helps Wukong flank into... Anyway. So you can do Krugs, Wolves, Gromp, Test Dragon. Trundle really doesn't have anything to do. This is literally just garbage time for him, right? Like he's just whatever. Like, okay, I'll just do this. He turns around, gets Romp, Wolves, maybe even Raptors, and go down. But do they want to contest? I don't know if they want to actually contest. I actually don't think they do. It might be dependent on how mid lane goes. And we're actually going to look at this for a second. So I can't actually see the exact lane.
Really feel like they need it. But I
Okay, hold on. I have been able to see what's been going on, right? So,
can struggle to stay safe.
okay,
And Ignite is just
whatever.
not anywhere near as effective as Flash, generally speaking, in a team fight. It's more about
Neither of them are backed.
with low Summoner's Spell cooldown, with Nimbus Cloak, with Phase Rush, trying to slam this jungle.
Yep, for sure. We'll see if it's gonna be
Corki
in a
used
moment.
a potion just now.
Actually on Pyuxin, don't think Glacial Augment in this game, which is like a
He is
20%
not.
on Zillion. I think
I don't
what's
know.
really interesting for me is that this likely changes
Guess
his
it's
play.
fine.
You see a lot of Roto Vaders, lots of tears on Zillion, wanting to build up that mana pool, but when you have Augment, you almost always want to have at least one item that pairs with it. So, so in Shadows or DLP, I'm curious to see how Pyuxin build changes with his keystone.
Actually,
It's
it's
gonna
not.
be almost 100%, just because you need Flash Chapter, you need to have
Right, because I'm comparing.
Zillion, or you will just
Yeah,
go
no,
Zillion.
that's
So you
not
can
good.
Rush Flash Chapter, go Hextech DLP. I do think that we will see Spooky Ghost after that. But in that it's not guaranteed to go the second. Sometimes you will be going towards Death Cap or things like that, or defensive items if they really feel like they need it. But I tend to favor just going for the items whenever you are playing this. It sets up so well for your bombs. So
Feel like he's kind of getting harassed a lot, but Bjergsen is losing out on a lot of his mana. But he has Corrupting Potion, and he's lost.
I think Speed
Hold on.
maybe goes after that, but you are right in that it's not guaranteed to go the second. Sometimes you will be going towards Death
Look
Cap
at
or
the
something
lane
like
state
that.
right now. So the next wave is coming in right now, right there, here. It's
Really feel like they need it.
Eve. It's not even.
I
It's kind of pushing this way.
favor just going for the double active items whenever you are playing this. It sets up so well for your bombs. Zillion Champion that I really do like to play.
I think. I'm trying to imagine if there's like unavoidability to this. If there's any way he could have simply avoided this play. Maybe he just takes a recall on this incoming wave and then he can teleport in. That feels like it'd be worse. Maybe just it's down to just.
Play mid lane, and having those just makes it a lot easier to land.
I honestly think that there's a world where Spica can kill Insanity. He's even more patient. Yeah. Where if he. I mean, Bjergsen really isn't able to do anything, right?
Spooky Ghost, they slow him down, you can range for the E-slow, and you're pretty much guaranteed for the bomb.
Good rap here from Speaker.
I feel like this is almost unavoidable. But it's also there's potential for Spica to kill him. And this is a really good Wayne. I think I was trying to say wave and lane. Really good lane state for Bjergsen because he can just hold it. Never mind. It's just gonna push in. Cool. Okay. Yep. Sure. But we're he actually could have even recalled, right? He could have just recalled and then matched the TP and then said, I now have Flash. You can't push me out. I have infinite mana. I win. That might be a line of play, but who knows? That's almost too specific for me to like that question of could he have just TP'd, match the TP and say and just laugh at him with his corrupting potion? Maybe. But it might be a little on the fence. Okay. And here, I mean, this is now it's pushing against INT, so mostly because now the guns have become much better for pushing. See, this is the problem with Aphelios. A really big problem with Aphelios. His guns are really not optimal at levels 1 to 3 because he's a weaker Caitlyn. He doesn't have he just auto attacks. He has the range for Caitlyn, but he doesn't have any of the added benefits of being Caitlyn. So even if he can match the range with his Calibrum, the Severum doesn't really provide that much except for his ability to take trades well. But he just gets pushed in majority of the time because he doesn't have any other skills to push. Whereas now he has really hard pushing guns, right? And now he can start pushing the waves in. But if Apollo and Hakuho had gone back and had a statistical advantage using items, they would probably not be able to do this, or at least they'd be able to aggress onto this more. Also, there might have been some mechanical issue. I think that Hako actually like missed a hook, or maybe I'm just thinking about another play where he missed a hook. Did he miss a hook here? He didn't even go for a hook. Yeah, I feel like hooking Bifrost is probably pointless. But yeah. Now, I mean, Doublelift can freely just push this wave, which means that Trundle can now take Raptors, which means he can now potentially contest a dragon, which should not be his to contest. And then now Doublelift and Biofrost are taking the recall and give the dragon up anyway. Oh. Okay. Sure. But they are going to be in lane. By the way, dragon is actually so important. Like genuinely really important for this team because it's one of their legitimately only good win conditions after a certain point. And by after a certain point, I mean after minute 0, but it's a really good win condition that is no longer available, or is delayed significantly if it is available to them. This should not even be a thing. I have no idea what his logic is. I actually have no idea what the logic behind this play is. What is this? He doesn't think he can kill him. There's no way he thinks he can kill him. I'm almost 90% sure Alarim could kill him on his own if he committed to this. Almost to the point where there is no world where Spica should think that he can contest Graves, unless he walks into him. Okay, he walked into him. Never mind. He's okay. It's fair. Fair enough. He also used the Nimbus Cloak with his Ignite, which is pretty good. But they probably wouldn't have enough damage to actually get a kill in that situation either. So a little bit of pressure doesn't really amount to much. It's kind of just the way that this game I think was drafted out. You're going to see a pretty slow game. There's not a lot of lanes that are really easy to gank. And Immortals will be starting up this. I mean, this is theirs too. TSM just aren't getting any early objectives. Like they didn't translate. Hold on. This is real iffy. This is real iffy. Okay, so they made this play, right? Because obviously, Corky's sitting around going, okay, I'm going to reset because of Rift Herald, right? Rift Herald spawning in 7 seconds. I want to reset, come back to the game with the best items I can for a potential contest around this area. Importantly, his bottom lane is not moving at all. There's not even a stagger for Hakuho to do anything. There's no movement for Hakuho. Hakuho is kind of locked in because of the way that the matchup is. Like, if he leaves, his Ashe is genuinely in danger. So then this becomes a thing, right? So Smith is probably thinking, well, obviously they're probably just going to set up for the Herald, right? Well, and this is kind of a setup for it. So it's it's a good play. Fine play. It's not a good play to what? Huh? They're not even level 6. Did he get hooked? That's unfortunate. Definitely unfortunate. Yeah, and then they scatter. Looks like Doublelift is sitting, waiting. Oh, okay. This is cute. I don't think it's good. It's cute. The only reason I don't think it's necessarily good is because you guarantee that they take the Rift Herald with this. And while, yeah, you're getting experience and gold at... you know what? I actually think it's good. You know what? I changed my mind. Maybe it's good. Especially because of the way that INT played it. Doublelift actually sat under tower, out of vision, so that he could sit and wait for the wave to come in. The thing is, you could argue that Apollo could just send a Crystal Arrow down this, down just in this general vicinity and just hope that he can hit it, and that can be his assistance. Because Apollo could sit and wait on this. He could see the reaction by Doublelift and turn around and just be like, all right, cool, I'm just gonna match you. I mean, you're not gonna be able to get lead. Because now, I mean, he's just falling behind, right? Now he's just a wave behind in experience and gold. He's literally doing nothing. For no reason, TSM have decided to play this. I mean, there's no world where this should ever happen. I have no... This is the world where Apollo's play is good. It's where TSM have decided that they are contesting this when they have set up nothing to make it contestable. They've actually actively made things so that it is not contestable. Because they've left Doublelift bottom. On purpose. He chose this. They knew. What value do you get by appearing? Apollo was actually falling behind. This lane that was supposed to be a good matchup for him, he's now behind in golden experience, which means he's actually going to feel bad. Which means that actually you might be able to take... They might be able to take this Herald and you know, hit a lane. They're probably just going to use for... They're going to go for plates. Because there's no... It doesn't seem like there's any place. The only good place is probably top lane. And you have to assume that Apollo's probably shifting to this area based on the fact that he's not around and isn't seemingly not doing anything with the experience. Bottom. So this should be a call out. This should be known by TSM that Apollo is coming to the area. This means that it is a 4v5 every single time. In fact, they probably saw him even sooner because he walked through the lane. He had to have walked through mid lane.
But you know, they probably wouldn't have enough damage to actually get a kill in that situation either. So a little bit of pressure doesn't really amount to much. It's kind of just the way that this game I think was drafted out. You're going to see a pretty
Akaho?
there's not a lot of lanes that are really easy.
Oh, they're waiting on Apollo. Apollo actually waited. So there's that. He was trying to be sneaky. It didn't matter because he saw him anyway. Or they should have been able to figure it out that he was around. But he was trying to be sneaky. So both the AD carries are trying to be sneaky, but they're trying to be sneaky in two different ways. Apollo's trying to be sneaky by moving up to this lane, saying, okay, it's a 5v4, and Doublelift is saying, well, I'm not going to leave. But he should also be able to tell his team that, well, he's losing minions for no reason down here, so there's no way that he's here. You know, he's probably not in XP range based on the fact that you have a ward down here. You know that Hakuho's there. I guess you could argue that Apollo might be able to win a 1v1, but that's a really weird estimation. To a level 6 Conqueror Aphelios with BF Sword versus Berserker Greaves and Longsword. Actually, he might. Probably not. Nah, probably not. It depends on the guns, actually. But regardless, you have to assume that either Apollo's gone to base or he's in this play, right? Even if we assume that he's not in, let's even have the assumption he's not there, right? You know what's missing? We don't have Cyclone. We don't have whatever subjugate. I don't know what it's called. the troll ultimate thing. We don't have Trundle ult. Like, are we just? So even if we ignore that this is a thing, right? If we just don't even think about it, that we just say, oh, Apollo just went to base. Maybe he's gonna transition to top side. Maybe you can make that consideration. Despite the fact that I'm 90% sure he backed
So not too bad from
fairly
XP, but
recently.
nice little, you have the potential. But at the very least, he didn't even get flash.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
For him. He doesn't
Maybe not.
To protect himself.
Actually, super not. All right, whatever.
force it to get a kill in that situation either. So a little bit of pressure doesn't really amount to much. It's kind of just the way that this game I think was drafted out.
Even if we make that
there's
estimation,
a lot of lanes that are really easy to gank.
that
And Immortals will be starting up this Rift Herald. They were spotted walking through.
see.
So there's pretty much everyone top side.
Okay, and
And
we give, and why? And why? Doesn't have Cyclone. Does not have Cyclone. I don't know why like it appears over the minimap. There's a whole bunch of portraits of your team. It includes you actually, and there's a big green circle, right? And it fills in. If it's green, your ult is up. Now we also he has. We can talk about it. We can also call off the play. Paulo's playing this pretty smart, but you know this is 4v4 at best. Do you win 4v4 without Cyclone? Probably not. Even with Cyclone, do we win? That's a little iffy. Or he even has package. Now, I don't know if his package usage was great, but we have to be looking at so many factors. Package. We don't know where Apollo is. We're guaranteeing that Doublelift is not around us. There's so many weird things that just didn't.
We'll see if TSM wants to fight anyway.
Rojo played he's got an ult, he's got arrow there from Apollo, gonna stop to go to Bifrost, and now a little too deep, I think, for Rojo. He's gonna have to flash out of there. The rest of the team chasing them down. First blood's on the table, and who's gonna collect it? It is indeed Haku.
I don't think that Insanity's package was super great even, but like it doesn't even matter when the mechanics didn't need to be considered. And now Doublelift is in a spot where he, I mean, did he get any plates?
Was he doing?
He didn't,
His ultimate or something? Like,
because he was building a slow push. He was building a slow push so that he could get the most plates as possible once he actually got to the plates, but then Alarim just TP's down.
Your marksman is bot lane. It's not like Double was planning on moving at all. I think anything more
Because
than
he's
staying kind of on the
Ornn and he doesn't have to go back.
just eat into the middle of their whole team pretty much and die. Gives away first blood. Does have his flash as well.
And then we just get this for free.
Not look very good against C9. Guess he got picked on by the jungle, but this was pretty much an unforced error from him going in without the ulti without the rest of the team there. It's never gonna really work out.
Yeah, almost didn't get that. It's fine.
Yeah, very significant lead here as we just hit 10 minutes. 2 of the 3 IMT marksmen able to easily take out the tower.
Broken Blade has to transition down.
So just a good general use of resources
The
from
golden experience shift is between these two, right?
I think it's fine for TSM to move
So
on.
the
Is there some sort of angle where we can poke with bombs and maybe go for a smite steal and then
Ornn is now in the lead. Belius is now in the lead.
That all makes sense. Everything,
And TSM are transitioning all the way to the dragon, which they didn't contest before. Actively chose not to contest. Doublelift and Bjergsen are sharing experience for some reason in the contest for priority, and now they're here, right? Okay. All right. Are you ready? Are you ready? This is about as good as it gets. They're here already. Wukong is like here. Wukong maybe could look for something here, but probably not necessary. It actually might be. Regardless, I have no idea why. Wait, why is that down?
On the horizon, get some levels. He does have the passive to donate even more experience, so usually you do want to kind of continue to pull that and pump that into your marksman.
Okay, he got caught in the jungle. Okay, sure.
Passive to donate even more experience, so usually you do want to kind of continue to pull that and pump that into your marksman. Try to really get them going. Get some levels on the values. You can also look towards.
Okay, dragon's up. We are 5. They are 5. They are 5. Right? We all good? 5, 5. So then, what's the logic? Right? We can fight this. Sure. Okay. I genuinely agree, actually, because the items are actually probably even bottom, but they're definitely better for IMT here. think Cinderhawk is probably better. Better, mid, and I mean, it doesn't matter. But yeah, I think they're thinking we're either even or we're just about in line, strength wise with IMT. TSM are thinking, all right, we can take this.
There's other lanes or whatever, but getting double ahead could be a really big deal.
Yep, also a 5v5 is on the horizon here around this Ocean Drake. TSM already started, broken the flank. This time I can confirm he does have his ultimate.
Wukong is doing the thing.
Doesn't
Problem. There is no way he doesn't know that this is a thing. Or, sorry, that he knows that this is a thing. He is probably getting spotted out. It's just guaranteed. You know that they're going to have a cover ward somewhere behind them. And the second that you walk into them, they're going to see you. And they're probably going to turn around. So it might actually benefit TSM. Maybe it's enough. Better play. No, they just kill him. They give up Dragon? Don't even give up Dragon? They don't even give up Dragon. They don't even give up Dragon.
What a disaster. It started off so well this time.
Right there is when you say FF. You just type that into the chat, and actually, then the game tells you it's too early for that, so you're kind of sad.
The flank. He's gonna die now. He doesn't have flash. Yeah, he's gonna die. Jeez.
Gets out of there, he's gonna keep him alive. Jackson there with the save insanity. Once it
And he had to use ultimate. It's a little early, but it's whatever. Just trying to cover for safety reasons.
Yeah, they are. TSM is making some errors and really getting punished for that. I mean, Broken Blade, you would think they would win the fight off that, right? It's all from Ash, gets cloned.
Hey, double lift is super. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have a pink in the river. They know everyone's missing. No one's showing in the lanes except for Corki. No one's showing topside. TSM just feels like, I don't know, man. Like this is like a lack of like mental focus or something. Like these are some really sloppy plays from TSM. Just kind of
We can FF.
Down here on the bot side, they see Smithy.
When this happens, that's just unacceptable.
Didn't expect him to be here, and it's 2 easy kills for Immortals. They missed the smite on the dragon. Smithy didn't even use his spikes.
Because you have to imagine, right? So they have no. IMT have scattered a whole bunch of wards around this area that don't necessarily matter, because Dragon is dead and will not matter for the next 4 minutes. TSM will, Vega will just like alone be able to take care of all these wards. And he's backing so they can go to topside anyway, so you don't even get to see him. It doesn't matter, right? So yeah, okay, all these wards for Scuttle Crab, great, fine, right? But this is really important. What just happened? When was the last time you saw them?
Play goal, but IMT playing the early stages of this game very well.
Yeah, they are. TSM is making some errors and really getting punished for that. I mean, Broken Blade, you would think they would win the fight off that, right? It's all from Ash, gets cloned. That actually forces out a flash hook as well. And now double.
He doesn't have flash, by the way. So this is really far forward for what's going on.
They know everyone's missing. No one's showing in the lanes except for Corki. No one's showing.
They have to be a little more cautious. I mean, I assume the calculation is, well, they left, they're probably resetting. But this same problem has caused issues for them in like 2 previous plays. No, just one, just the Dragonfly. I don't even legitimately remember how did this go down? How did that tower die? That's where they used the thing, right? Jesus. Okay, good. Carry on. So, I mean, Double is like greeting for plates on this previous play, because he tried to optimize getting the plates, assuming that no one bothers him, but he didn't calculate the teleport, which is weird. Okay, 2 minutes 30 for Dragon. Bunch of whatever. Good sequencing by Smithy. He doesn't have any responsibility to do really anything in this game, so the fact that he's getting things off is just insane. They're down 4K at 14 minutes.
And yeah, I mean, I agree. You want to see the coordination on the 5v5 from TSM.
Really, really, really painful.
Their errors have mostly just seemed like lapse in judgment or lapse in focus, where
A lot of the advantage is actually on Xmithy, as far as I'm aware. So you could argue that it's not that bad, but Xmithy is able to take out double lift, and so in an optimal situation, double lift is in people's faces, and Graves can just beat him when he's in his face, so that seems not good. I mean, they can't really contest the... Fine, he uses the package to provide safety so he can actually aggress onto that tower, take the tower, get extra gold. That's a really suboptimal use of the package, but it ends up being okay. He could have saved it, honestly. It just deters being caught in that position there. And he still doesn't have Muramana or his Triforce finish, so he's not as much of a threat, potentially. This should work just fine. I almost thought it wasn't. Okay. All tier 1s are now dead for... and then just took Infernal, just like, for free. I didn't even... because they were focused on this. And, I mean, TSM can't aggress past line, so... super free. Package probably could have been picked up. Did he actually have to use it that soon? Actually, let me think about that package. It's not that relevant or important, but it is interesting to me. Corky backs, picks up package. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Obviously, the usage of the package was like whatever, but
I mean, that's 5,000 gold, and they just got the Rift now as well, so they can drop that mid when the Infernal is going to spawn. You know, they get
the
6,000 gold lead. Like, it is really
end result is fine because it provides him a lot of safety in doing that, and then he can create. Then the vision line becomes way past where any objectives for TSM exist. Like TSM can't go past basically this line, past their tier 1s. And then they kill this one as they're killing Dragon, so and it's a huge gold injection there too. And now they're up 5k. And they're at 3 dragons. And TSM just feeling like, all right, we're so far behind, we just have to give everything right now. And they have made the decision that it's going to be essentially one last stand for Soul. I think that this UI might be manual. It's not relevant to the game, but I think they might actually have to manually input things. They might actually have to manually input a lot of things. Alarm is dead here. That arrow was really wide, but it doesn't really matter. Oh, that's a good... Sure. 1 for 1 is fine. And then option. It also was just random, but like it doesn't even matter, right? So in this case,
we're going to see TSM fight, and that is very likely where the game will just be decided now. You know, based on how TSM have played, if you give up that soul, I don't think you're winning this game.
I don't know if it's known that this is here. Then they just they ult and then they like they just bring everyone to this location. Good ult. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like this death is whatever. They just used all of those resources. They used mid laner's teleport. They used Tahm Kench ultimate. They used multiple ults. You kill one person and get nothing. Did he have a shutdown? No, he didn't even have a shutdown. He wasn't worth any extra gold. If he was a Smithy, I'd be like, oh, that's really good then. Screw it, why not? He's worth double. But he's 1 kill and you're already down 5k. It feels nice, I guess, but it's not helpful. Also, I assume the play was probably to get that as well. It's got like hit on it.
None of that, as TSM haven't taken a turret yet, is going to be really poor as a result. So Tahm Kench will be more squishy. Obviously, it's not as big of a deal because it is just Tahm Kench, but the 3 carries at the top is really the issue here for TSM because those 3
it doesn't feel like anyone on TSM is really set up to do anything this game. So like Wukong, so Broken Blade was getting a lot of flack this game. Probably very undue. He didn't have a very good game against TSM either, but
22 minutes. I think you should spend the gold and just try to win the game right now.
Yeah, certainly is an argument to be made for.
he wasn't set up in either case to do super hot.
Because as you mentioned, this all is hugely important for TSM to try and contest.
Get stopwatch, get elixirs, get something.
I'm 90% sure Immortals just walk. Okay. Okay, he screwed that up.
So mid 33, Bjergsen is going to the area. The smoke screen here is nice pillar from Speaker though. That will disengage Bjerg from any potential gank. Still a minute 20 to set up for this.
Pretty sure he should be GLPing and then bombing, but whatever.
Be an easy team fight to try and win, but TSM have basically said we're going to fight at this point no matter what because they realize they have to.
Yeah, you absolutely have to. And the good part is it's usually like 3 items and more where the
IMT should auto get this, right?
There's no like death dance and GA and all this sort of stuff, you know, coming through.
Right.
So it's still possible to burst these guys.
Why aren't they? Why, wait. Why does this feel like it's contestable? Why does the map position feel like they can contest it?
Because as you mentioned, this all is hugely important for TSM to try and contest.
Get stopwatch, get elixirs, get something, get whatever. The most possible one fight power you can have is what you want right now as your Immortals. And same
Okay.
thing for TSM, honestly, because if they lose this fight and they lose the dragon, I think the game's just over.
So mid 33, Bjergsen is going to the area. The smoke screen here is nice pillar from Speaker though. That will disengage Bjerg from any potential gank.
No. No. Keep the 3 mid. Maintain pressure on the towers. Maintain pressure and priority. Keep Alarim here. Make him teleport if you need it. He's fine. Bjergsen is on Zillion, so even if you try this, like, are you going to commit to a full-on fight to try to kill him twice? And there's a minute left, a minute and some before Dragon.
Still a minute 20 to set up for this Dragon though, so a bit of time for TSM to get back, spend the money, and maybe try and get some vision. Certainly not going to be an easy team fight to try and win, but TSM have basically said we're going to fight at this point no matter what, because they realize they have to.
We're looking at recalls, blah, blah, blah.
Usually like 3 items and more.
Okay.
Kind of luxury defense items are coming through for your opponents. So TSM,
Mid lane. Okay, so TSM were going through bottom lane, so they went through bottom lane to contest the Dragon. Okay, so this is why it kind of feels like it's almost possible. And then Nick Smithy just laughs in his face and it doesn't matter. I mean, look at that, how much no damage that was.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming the signature play from Insanity to me though. Like, he plays so well, and then he gets greedy for trying to get too much. Why not just hold the package? Imagine if you're 100% AP with package right now as you're starting up this dragon. It becomes impossible for TSM to approach. They still may not be able to get it. Nice look at Bjergsen.
Into the arrow as well. That's such a good combo from the INT duo lane.
Bjergsen was a little far forward. So here's the thing. Here's the problem.
Don't get me wrong.
Right.
You know, if you get on top of
This isn't because Broken Blade did something bad. It's because his team is asking him to do as much as possible. And that's as much as possible. He needs an ult. He needs an ult, but then so he gets ulted, and then his team is way over here. Generally, when you get ulted, you're trying to have your team be surrounding you, so you can actually affect the opposing team. If the opposing team is just surrounding you, all you've done is delay dying. Also, Doublelift could have ulted this. I think he does, but it does no damage. Because even though he's actually stronger than Apollo, look at the champions. The only one who's really getting hurt is Sanity, who is over here. So Apollo might actually get hurt a lot, right? So he actually might feel the pain of the ult, but that's it. It's also his ult is really a suboptimal. It's either the AoE ult, which is okay. It's been nerfed a few times. Is obviously the better option. This one just heals you and he's at full health. So the AoE is the best option, but then now what? Now what do you do? Do you flash in? No, because you know that Corki is coming in. I assume the idea was we can maybe kill Xmithy before Corki is able to get into this or walk over here. Sanity was really kind of late on the pack. I don't know. When was the package available? It doesn't tell me. The package doesn't look available right now. But he just goes there. It doesn't ever look available, and then he just picks it up. So I assume it was available pretty much the entire time that he was sitting around bottom. So my general assumption is that he could have backed sooner. And Sanity should not do that. He has no reason to do
doesn't
that.
really do anything.
He
Yeah,
can
it's
just use his
like
ult
the
to
situation
prevent
comes
them
in
from
and
ever
he
coming
plays
into
so well,
him.
and he gets
And
greedy
they're
with
already in a
might not be able to
position
get the kill,
where
but right now he's
they
starting
don't
to
necessarily
get
want to go
some
into him
damage
anyway.
They still may not be able to get a nice one.
Bjergsen is just like over
Pretty
here, pretty much
much dead.
dead. Pika has no way of getting in because of Alorum.
Ouch. It feels like it's time to get
Good
up
setup
again.
by
Immortals is coming through.
Immortals. I mean,
Over 6,000 gold ahead. Soul completed.
so here's the thing. I can't attribute like super great play to Immortals. I think they played fine, but I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh my gosh, they're so insane. Look at how insane Xmithy is. Like after the Rift Herald play, after not really I mean they got third dragon for free off of the Rift Herald, off of the Ocean dragon, the second dragon being such a blowout. They got third dragon for free because the second dragon was so bad for TSM because that's the real like issue.
See, like, oh, hey, is there some sort of angle where we can poke with bombs and maybe
What are we
Immortals
at?
might
30,
and then the worst case,
30
Soul
seconds?
will
30
die
seconds.
with bombs,
Here's
so
30 seconds
Immortals
before.
actually defend a turret, will double
Right, here's the setup.
That all makes sense. Everything, made sense.
TSM are they have their bottom lane here and they're beelining it to mid. Broken Blade and Pika eventually they all come in, they push mid for priority while Corky's back, probably with a package. And you come in, you maybe get a plate or something, I don't know. Broken Blade sits, waits. Then he has his team come in. Then Alarum will eventually have to leave, and you can push the wave in. Sure, whatever, great. Setup's fine enough, right? There's logic behind it, and IMT are actually behind on the entire play, right? Because their bottom lane is up top lane. I mean, Alarum is fine in his position. He doesn't have teleport. Insanity. The teleport is probably weird. No. What did he teleport for? Okay, there's a whole bunch of things that probably created this situation. Like, I don't remember what this teleport was for. I assume this isn't the same teleport after the Rift Herald. It might actually. It is the Rift Herald teleport. Okay. Where he teleports to this tower and then it's in this lane after double lift came in. So you have the situation. I think one or two people die, and then you have Tomkench and double lift die, and then that's when the blowout really starts. Right. So they're already in the lead due to Rift Herald, due to first tower already being taken, due to the discrepancies in your lanes, which actually aren't even that significant at this point. So it's really just the tower. The tower is the entire difference, right?
Going in, but either way, TSM
Now there are differences in terms of compositions, in terms of what they can actually do, what they're capable of, and that's important. Actually, they get two. Do they get two plates? They might get two plates. They don't get two plates. They only get one plate. So they get a plate. Great, cool. They actually managed to bust Xmithy's ultimate. And now here's the real test. Alright, can we even play this game test? We have Wukong coming on the flank. Wukong just dies immediately, right? Because his team can't actually reach him because there's no actual threat for them to do that. Now, there is a world where if Biofrost eats Wukong, Wukong shows up like here or something. I don't know. Like they go over here and then there's no way to hide it, but they can ult and then they can move forward. There's nothing they can do. I don't think there's anything they can do. I think that optimally like Wukong's here and then they're already moving forward by the time Wukong's like right here. It's
5v5 is on the horizon here around this Ocean Drake. Here's one for started, broken with the flank. This time I can confirm he does have his ultimate.
Doesn't have a slash though.
Yeah, and getting spotted also. There's also probably really the ulti.
but he just gets caught. He actually doesn't get caught. Wait. Alright, they didn't catch him. Right, because of the thing. Alright, but Speak is in the thing, just face tanking it. He actually misses the smite. He missed smite to just follow, or does Xmithy come in and smite too? Smithy's really far.
Oh, you hate to see it if you're Immortals. But
Smithy's right there. He misses it by 75, and then Ash gets it. Like Smithy is not the one who he didn't even smite. It was close, whatever. It's kind of tragic, but this is pretty bad. And wait a minute, what? Okay. They're up 1k. Oh, and then they get Fire Frost.
What a disaster. It
Sure.
started out so well this time. Broken Blade actually drew a lot of pressure. He goes with the flank. He's
Sure.
gonna die now. He doesn't
So
have
now they're up. They're down 2k. Then they're down even more because of the plates.
Yeah, they are. TSM is making some errors.
And then this happens. And Bifrost actually TPs specifically to die.
Actually forces out a flash hook as well.
And then the game is over. I cannot know
Have a pink in the river.
genuinely. I can't know how this game goes if they don't do this, but the game is already like out of their hands by the time this is happening, right? So by the time this happens, it's not good, but it's already like already doomed. You really needed to cut the two first drakes. If you can actually get one of the drakes, maybe you can play the game with a realistic soul win condition. I think it ends up just being... No, it doesn't end up being Cloud, right? Because Cloud was already the first dragon? That's Infernal. It's Infernal. I'm blind. I don't know how I forgot, as I was literally way ahead. Watched the entire game unfold.
Yeah, this is kind of becoming the signature play from Insanity to me, though. Like, he plays so well, and then he gets greedy for trying to get too much. Why not just hold the package? Imagine if you're 100% AP with package right now as you're starting up this dragon.
I mean,
It's
there's just no
impossible
world.
They still may not be able to get it. Nice over in.
Into the arrow as well. That's such a good cover from the IMT duo lane. And Speaker is completely zoned out this dragon, by the way, so he's not getting it at all.
Then they get Infernal Soul for free.
That's
They can't actually contest or go in anywhere.
Feels like it's time to get out the game, TSM. Immortals
And
is running
they
through. They are running you
just
over.
lose.
Over 6,000 gold ahead, soul completed, or an upgraded items, online. Going to be continually pumping in those.
This is
upgrades.
a
TSM is
huge draft
really,
difference.
It's gonna take a miracle now, and Insanity
Huge.
did get over aggressive there. Doesn't get punished, but
Genuinely one of the
for him,
worst
he's able to pull them off sometimes, and they do look good. But
that
Immortals,
I've
when we were talking about, some of the last week when they almost beat
recorded
OG and
watching.
They kind of fell flat off of Insanity once when they were potentially able to end the game. Trying to go in for this big easier play. Then another game, trying to go for the shockwave and actually, not moving the ball before getting it. This looked like one of those moments to me where it was, bridge too far. You're Valkyrie 1v4 in, and he does survive.
But it's not even just that. Like, they made a mistake here, obviously, and I mean, Broken Blade just isn't allowed to play the game. Spica I mean, it just doesn't matter. They actually get Insanity, so good on them. Still, I mean, random kills don't matter. And both of the kills that they've gotten are just random kills that lead to nothing.
So good job, and it is a big kill taking out that Corki, slowing him down a little bit. Is going to be important. So
I can't say that IMT played this super well. That was the point I went back for. I can't say like, oh wow, they really played this, super well. They just kind of they played the game. Another random kill that doesn't lead into anything because they don't have the necessary distance. Now, actually, that could be something because it does allow you to. This becomes realistic. The random kill actually got this, didn't it? Oh, wait, maybe those kills actually did something. Yeah. No. He just walks over. They get a kill and then. Sure. Okay. Then Broken Blade just pushes the wave. He just AFK pushes bottom for the tower. Okay. So you get the two tier 2s, tier 1s on the sides. It's fine. Yeah, they were already pretty low. And you're actually able to create a vision line. It's going to be mostly defensive or neutral. So that's actually it's fine, but it's not super great. That's the only offensive board they have, and then it's just dead. And I mean, it's just super easy for IMT to just reclaim all vision because they're so ahead because of Infernal Soul. I mean, they didn't play super well because Hago was like getting caught. Insanity got caught. Alarim's death was almost unavoidable because they put in so many. I mean, I guess I'm putting so many resources into it. But the other deaths were not like they're super random. We're gonna dive 5. With no objective coming up, with nothing to do. Just that's what we're doing. Kind of play. And his death also was a 1-for-1.
We
So.
haven't seen Immortals extend the lead by any means. It feels like they are just trying to play towards these mega buffs, these neutral objectives in the Baron and in this Elder. And as that starts
And
to
at this
evolve,
point,
the decision-making process is
I
kind of
mean,
more tricky. Where do you go? Are you willing to trade? How many members you commit to each side? Where do you put your vision? All these things become a lot more complex. And TSM is going to have opportunities to try to outmacro their opponents to try to make the right calls on where to go and where to be.
Yeah, again, Immortals have lost some heartbreaking games with this roster.
I don't know what the communication on TSM is. I don't know what they're thinking. I'm trying to understand, like, if you're in this is a pretty bad position, right? But you have to have some sort of like good mentality around it. You can't just be like, oh, well, we just lost, right? You can't just literally be like, all right, /FF, like just end. But I mean, even when everything is going as well as it possibly can, like it doesn't matter.
Drops the Nimbus Cloak and just kites out the Wukong ultimate and then chases him down. Bjergsen couldn't actually get back to the Broken Blade, and neither Bjergsen nor Broken Blade actually flashed to get closer to each other to be able to get that ultimate off. So it wasn't a 10 from TSM.
So they get Elder and they should beeline it to Baron, right?
They are in trouble here.
Oh goodness, Insanity! That looks
Insanity's not playing super hot with that. That's a little aggressive. And this is fine. And they beeline it to Baron, right?
Yep. Insanity, he's getting a little bit too spicy with these packages for my taste. He is getting really, really.
Yeah, these packages have not been super great. So I mean, I don't think that
you're willing to take any fight. You are
Apollo played okay.
Aqua
Aqua played.
Eh.
He's probably the one who gets the most praise, right? I actually don't remember who got praised. I think Alarim was praised because of the interview, but Smithy probably gets the most praise because of the game. But he didn't really. You know those situations in solo queue where your jungler's doing everything right. Let's say you're mid laner, right? And your jungler, he's doing just fine, right? Nothing's going wrong. He's counter jungling when necessary. He's up there. His pathing is fine. It's helping you. You know, everything's going great. You can maybe he's busted a flash somewhere. But then Master Yi walks over to bottom lane and just gets 2 kills. And he goes back. And he just lane ganks again. He just goes back, gets 2 kills again on bottom lane. And now you have a 4-0-1. You have a 4-0 Master Yi, who is probably ahead in farm against, I don't know, random jungler number 3. I don't know. Let's say a Rammus. Let's say you're in some weird elo. And look another example of. I mean, at this point, I mean the advantage is insane. The levels are just not there. I mean, it's just not doable. But now you have such a. Now, no matter what your jungler is, okay, this. They're never getting it. He's worth a lot though, so I can see why maybe. If he gets that on double lift, that's actually really good. I'm just gonna finish my anecdote and then talk about how they use this Baron, right? Okay, so here they're doing the Baron. Then you have the situation where you're like, you have a Master Yi who's 4-0 versus whatever random McGee jungler you've got, who's been doing everything right, but then he's not the one who decided to walk over to bottom lane and get 2 kills, right? He just didn't benefit from that. And now Master Yi just runs away with the game, and now it's jungle diff. That's kind of what happened here. Not to that same degree, obviously, because we're talking about super low elo kind of nonsense, and this is a professional game. But I mean, that's basically what happened. The game where it's like, if you look at the scoreline, you're like, oh, jungle diff. But if you look at the game, you're like, did Smithy actually do anything that crazy? Did he do anything to beat the guy who gets 5 kills? Anyone could have gotten those kills. Could have been on Apollo. Apollo could have had 4 kills now. Could have had all 5. Could be 5-0-0. You know, why does Hako have a kill randomly? Who did he take that from? What if Alarim has 7 kills instead of 7 assists? You know, Smithy, if he's 1-0-5, no one's like, oh man, he really popped off. But he's 5-0-1, so everyone's like, oh, jungle diff. But nah, it's whatever. All right, so how do they use this, right? So let's look at the lanes. Double Lift is trying to trade for this, right? He's trying to make the best of a bad situation. He's perfectly covered to do it, but he can't really do it because they're just gonna be they're gonna recall in time and they're gonna stop him from doing anything. And of course, this lane is pushing against them. There's a big wave mid. So with home guards and Baron, I mean these guys are gonna get onto the map really, really fast. 1-3-1 is probably just how you do it. I don't think he has package available, but 1-3-1 is probably how you do it.
Looks like TSM's call though is just give that up too and pray, I guess, that maybe later you do stuff. It's looking pretty rough.
Yeah.
They don't even reset.
Amount of time they've got to wait
That's
for
weird.
out, but Sanity, he's like the guest on hot ones that goes
That
straight to the last step, you know,
doesn't help them.
instantly on that play.
This is a ghost pepper. You'll
It should definitely all reset.
look over, he's like chugging from the bottle.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, stop! Don't do that. You don't have to. Just sit by
I
the
mean, I can understand why Alarim might want to do that, but also Knight's Vow is not super great. I feel like Knight's Vow probably should just be lock it. But I guess Knight's Vow makes sense because I mean it just absolutely negates any potential of killing Apollo. Okay, the lanes are okay. They just didn't want 3-1 at all. Because Alarim is actually in the mid lane because he didn't reset because he decided to use his passive instead, I think. Wait, what happened? Yeah, that's actually what happened. He decides to sit on the map, kills his minions. Doesn't actually need to do that. In fact, it's not beneficial at all. He actually could have just reset immediately, walked over to the mid, then had his 3 support 80 and jungle go mid. Alarim goes top. Corki goes bot. And then you can actually push in the waves pretty much completely evenly, and you're guaranteed to cake this. I mean, this is already pretty much dead anyway. This is probably going to be dead if you position yourself over there. I mean, Corki's killed this pretty much. TSM really can't go past this line. It doesn't matter because, I mean, there's almost no way for them to lose the game, but you always have to optimize. And frankly, if I was coaching this team, this would be something I'd be very concerned with. The usage of Baron. Look how much no damage he's doing. They ended up doing like 158 damage at the end. I don't know if they put it up, but I mean, they end up getting 2 inhibitors. It's fine. But the argument could be made that you take tier 2 top, you transition to mid, take inhibitor, transition to bot, take inhibitor. So you actually you end up with 1 more tower. It's not big. It's not like that big of a deal, but it can, it can be the difference if it's actually a tighter game, if things are actually going a little smoother for TSM, if TSM has a composition that can come back into the game at 30 minutes or 35 minutes, whatever. I mean, they end up getting this anyway, so alright, they're just gonna tell me that it doesn't matter. So, alright, cool.
Yeah, Immortals just need to slow play this. Alarm's actually got back up. You need to wait for your supers. That is how you play this out. They are going to look for the dive here. We'll see if they can make it happen.
I'd be mostly concerned about their inability to set up around things. Their forethought is not super high. I mean, they just auto-won because of the draft. Doublelift's actually almost 200 years right there. He actually almost saved the entire game. But then, oh. Remember when I said like Smithy's supposed to be strong enough to face tank Aphelios? I think he might have had optimal guns. Yeah, he had Severn Crescendum. That's I think the only setup that beats any other gun setup. Smithy just absolutely rolls him, but that's the one gun setup that he can't do anything with. And he has no Grievous Wounds to really stop it, which, I mean, makes sense because why would you necessarily... you know what? Actually, I can see a reason for bringing Grievous Wounds. I think Grievous Wounds is actually not that bad. Okay, he has a locket anyway. TSM actually get the Dragon. What if... BK got hit with that, though. What if Apollo just becomes the hero? Stealing 2 objectives away from Spica. Alright, so now it's Elder versus Baron. Obviously, Elder is better because, I mean, there's no real objectives to get. It's much harder to progress. There is only 1 tower. That's the thing. So these minions are going to be really, really strong when they fight. But Elder is stronger because when you do this nonsense, there's going to be a lot more dead people. I'll tell you that. There's going to be a lot more dead people.
Goes over to Bjergsen. Doublelift now full 6 items. He is fully online. Yeah. Bjergsen just completed his death cap, so oh my god. There's a way, man. The Dream is alive. 9,000 damage. I've seen a lot of games where players just don't do that much damage in the whole game. The Doublelift just did that in 1 team fight. And Firefrost did less damage than Alorum.
It's really unfortunate.
That is extremely
I mean, they're not set up. It's not because
They just played smart, right? Like if you run that situation back,
it's not
you can
because
just wait.
he's
There's like
played
3 or 4
poorly.
Zillions
It's
waiting
just
for
that
top
he
lane.
just
They
has
just do it.
nothing to do. Like
Which allows us starting the next
his
turn.
best
Instead,
option
top
is
lane
what?
anticipated.
To
Instead, they got a bit overeager. They try to go for the fight when
open
they just play slowly, hit the towers, allow TSM to
for
sort of
them
fight
to
as
walk
opposed
into him, but like they have no
but they still get
reason to
out
do
the
that.
as they're still incredibly strong themselves. But I mean, Aphelios is 6 items before
I mean, they have a reason to do it now because they have to kill the
Insanity's back. He's got the package.
things, right?
45 seconds still left in Baron. Smithy's starting to dish out deep from the front line.
But these are just
Gonna
they
go for it.
freely die.
Take the first hit. Here comes a
Maybe
lot
they
of
should
kills.
not die
There's
here.
the first kill. Immortals just
He
still
has
back in. He's
GA
got
though,
comes through for Insanity, and I
and
think
they
he's
just die.
surely
Alright.
double this. He's got the Illuminati.
This was a really weird fight, by the way. Where TSM actually, I'm gonna slow it down. That's the last thing. But
Gonna ignite Broken Blade again. They're gonna take it the first
oh,
hit.
this feels
Here
so
comes
sluggish.
Alone
All right,
with
whatever.
ulti.
Um,
Or an ultimate to try and end it all.
so oh no. Uh, Speaker just dies. Okay.
There's the first kill.
Didn't ult.
Immortals just surging in, make it two.
Bypass didn't Grey health.
The double kill comes through for Insanity, and I think this is it. Surely Double cannot live through this. He's got the Zillion ulti ticking on.
His team literally just abandoned him. Bjergsen straight up put an ult on him and then left. Broken Blade, who's been doing nothing but dying, and whose job is pretty much to die, has decided not to use the second stage of his ult to go back in and try to CC and help Doublelift play the game. Genuinely, if these two try to do anything, or if the Grey health is activated, or if Trundle activated his ult, or like maybe Doublelift actually can return fire. This is a very, 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 very strange end of the game. Because again, I don't feel like IMT did anything that's like, wow, they really, they're really coming back. They're really showing us that maybe, the squad can make it to playoffs. Still skeptical because this was just a huge draft win that translated into the game to basically mean they can't play. Their objective setup was really lacking. They didn't really do anything. Like, okay, let's go back to that ocean break because I think it's really pivotal. Remember when I said I was gonna do this? This was gonna take shorter time. Still 2 hours. Oh my gosh, where is it? This timer being under the banner, the YouTube banner, is actually really obnoxious. But anyway, okay.
So I'm not sure exactly.
So look at the setup. You have your bottom lane, top lane. I mean, Alarim already used his teleport to deny plate, so that was fine on the Rift Herald play. But your bottom lane is way behind on this. Sanity doesn't have package here. They already used it and it hasn't come up yet. But he also is the one with teleport, right? So what if he goes top? Like, they just leave it. They say, okay, we'll bring it to the tower to leave. And Insanity beelines it to top lane from base. And the bottom lane goes here. He TPs in when you need him to TP in. Or you just TPs in when he pushes the wave. So then you're matching. They don't get extra tower plates. Probably doesn't actually matter. It doesn't actually matter. But optimization that should.
How that math is going to work out.
It's inavailable optimization. I'm not sure if it's 100% an optimization.
We'll be at a bit of an edge there, and Zillion obviously does have the passive to donate even more experience. So usually you do want to kind of continue.
This is normal. My gosh,
and pump
why
that
is the game so
into
slow?
your team, try to really get them going, get some levels on the Aphelios. You can also look towards your other soul lanes or whatever, but getting double at the head.
Yeah. Also, alternatively, they waited. They were willing to sit here and wait for Wukong to travel into them when they could have been using or an ultimate, Crystal Arrow, aggressive, Death Sentence, into box maybe. I like anything. Anything.
Yep, also a
Here they are,
5 is on the
dancing
horizon
around,
here,
waiting
but
for
the switch
Wukong to
from
walk
Dragon.
into them.
TSM have already started it. Broken Blade looking for the flank. This time I can confirm
They're
he
actually
does have his
chunking
ultimate.
Spica a lot.
Doesn't have his flash though.
Yeah, and gonna get spotted also. There's also a Polyria ready with the ult.
So I mean, this play genuinely could have gone terrible for IMT.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Because they just were so passive in what they were doing. They were willing to actually watch the dragon die. It looks like they were genuinely willing to just give the dragon. Which I can see the argument, but if that's the case, don't be there.
A lot of pressure. He goes in with the flank. Is he gonna die now?
Let me look at the Rift Herald
Oh, we haven't seen
usage.
Corky's package, so easy take for Insanity there.
Okay, so they have Rift Herald now. So here's a Rift Herald setup.
Very dangerous. A lot of their errors have mostly just seemed like lapse in judgment or lapse in focus, where they're kind
This
of
was after the
up,
Doublet Bifrost
not
deaths.
really paying attention.
So I mean, these guys, whatever, it's fine.
So that's twice really. The second
Pushing
one
the
was
wave.
actually
Insanity is going back for
Insanity
package, I would
Corpo
assume.
didn't die because he got the Zillion ulti, but clearing mid lane there was very dangerous. Going into the dragon.
Yeah.
Their bot lane getting caught. So
Yeah, for sure.
they've got to clean that
Yeah.
up. Try to stay
Going really fast. He's got
down
package.
4,000
Okay.
gold. Infernal spawns in a minute 30.
So I mean, they're feeling really far behind, but I mean, they can't really do anything. So this is fine setup. I don't know about this play. I don't know where he's going to. I actually have no idea. What is he doing? He like took this weird path. Beeline it.
Yeah, I think Dragon Fight is a huge inflection point in what direction this game is going. It really is the point where TSM needs to try and stabilize the game. Otherwise, I think Immortals are just going to keep that snowball very quickly rolling down the mountain. As Insanity with the package should be able to finish off this tower as well. Bjergsen's going to try and interrupt.
Finishes the tower, which is good, and then you get the Herald play, which is good, and then you get the mid tower, good. Like everything was just great, and then they just translate that to Infernal for free. So this was actually well thought out, right? There was thinking behind it. But it was also not contested. So I don't know. I don't know how many points I want to give them for doing something that basically they did an objective on cooldown because no one contested them, or on spawn because no one contested them. I'm gonna go back to the finish.
Do that much damage in the whole game? The double lift just did that in one team fight.
Just watch this. 2x speed. You know what?
Oh man, that is something. We'll see though. Immortals, they do have the Baron buff. Elder expires in 25. We're very unfocused. Hit the top
go over here.
turret, and TSM can't deal with that. Instead, they got a bit overeager. They try to go.
Let's watch the whole game, whole finish here, uninterrupted. So, I mean, you have supers are coming in from the top side. You want to get these the inhibitors. Sure. This is probably package Corky. Yep.
Insanity's back. He's got the package. IMT are looking for the kill here. 45 seconds still left.
A lot of damage.
Starting to dish out deeps into the front line.
I don't think Spica was actually even in range to hit someone. I think he just died with no one even remotely close to him. The only person he could have ulted was Lauren, but he was just yeah. He didn't position himself for it. He could have flashed, I guess, if he really wanted to get the ult off. But I mean, this is just fun. It's weird.
To save this game, but I don't think Double Lift can protect the Nexus as Immortals. Yes, I believe they will take down TSM.
Oh my god.
The
game.
very interesting game. Very interesting. Yeah, I mean, the draft difference was massive. But also there were just really weird mistakes for no reason, like fighting at the Rift Herald, at that first Rift Herald. They could have contested first Dragon actually, because they're not, I mean, they could have contested first Dragon. They were in position to contest first Dragon, and then they just chose to recall, fight everything being about equal. And potentially, I think that they actually had priority mid because of Insanity having to blow flash and teleport. Maybe not. Maybe not. But I feel like the recall probably had nothing to do with Bjergsen saying, maybe he said I can't contest because I don't have priority. Maybe that's the case, and then Double Lift made the decision to back. But they didn't contest first Dragon. Second Dragon was contested, but it was basically given away. I mean, their contest is really, really bad because you have, I mean, this guy you can't really aggress onto. Your best option is to flank onto them. You just get DC'd and taken down in in that attempt. He also, by the way, left. So I mean, I'm not saying he played awful, but he didn't play super great. So the criticism is undue because it's too much, but it makes sense because you know. Yeah, I mean it's just a weird game, right? Because they didn't have the agency to do anything. I don't want to put all the emphasis on the draft, but draft is a huge part of this. It's a huge problem in this game. It basically doesn't let them play. Even if they played really, really, really well, it would have to be really insane. So yeah, it's still 2 hours long. 2 times speed doesn't even matter. I pause at every possible minute.